Hello and welcome to this presentation of narratives that drive racism and microaggressions. What you're about to witness is a dramatization portraying how the stories we tell and are told have created and continue to reinforce racism both in general and in a social work practice setting. How can stories create racism, you ask? Well, the fact is they created the concept of race itself. As Schmidt 2018 notes, race is not neutral. The myths or stories that attribute mastery, animality, wantonness, and fragility on people of color were all created by 17th century Europeans in order to justify conquest in Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Narratives about race, as defined by these 17th century Europeans, are still well and alive today in the 21st century, and are evidenced by microaggressions towards people of color by white bodies. Microaggressions are defined by Sue et al. As commonplace verbal or behavioral indignities that can be broken up into three groups. First are micro-insults, which are often unconscious remarks or behaviors that convey rudeness, insensitivity, and demean a person's racial heritage. Second, micro-invalidations are usually unconscious comments or behaviors which serve to exclude, negate, or nullify the experiential reality of people of color. And finally, micro-assaults, which are usually conscious discriminatory acts or behaviors. In practice settings, as in a therapy group for example, white clinicians may further marginalize or invalidate their clients of color by operating from these unchallenged racist narratives. The following dramatization is an extreme example of such a malpractice and shows which narratives are operating the microaggressions and the message that is sent to the person of color. So without further ado, hey, thanks for being on time. I really appreciate that. So we're just going to wait here a couple of minutes for these stragglers to make it. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi.
Welcome to Reel Up.
Is that your natural hair? Is that your natural hair? Yeah. I sent it. Can you show it? Oh.
Oh, I guess we're getting friendly, huh?
I've never seen like hair. I didn't know if it was natural or like if it was like extensions. That's really cool.
Hold up. What the hell is going on here? Why is that white woman treating the other white woman like a person of color? Well, it's because we are not all who we appear to be. This is Elliot. He is a white male. This is Maren. She is a white female. This is Alex, and he is an asshole and a facilitator, as will be evident shortly. And this is Angela, and she will be treated as though she is a person of color. Hopefully that's clear now, so let's get back to it. Well, yeah, I mean, that's good that you guys are bonding. Let's try not to be a distraction, though. Also, group expectation is that, you're on time. You think that you can do that?
I think so.
Okay. So before we get started on relapse prevention techniques, I want to just get to know you guys, hear your stories. It's really important that when people are sharing their stories, we're not making assumptions and just kind of letting them say what happened to them and how they got here. Who'd like to start?
I can start.
Okay.
Well, I grew up in the suburbs, pretty wealthy family, and I just started smoking pot in high school, kind of fit in, all my friends did it, and then I started missing school, so my family kind of freaked out and made me go to treatment, and they're kind of making me be here, so.
Yeah. So you thought you had to smoke pot to fit in?
I mean, yeah, it was kind of fun too. I mean, it wasn't that big a deal.
No? But those family expectations sound really tough. Like, that's a really big deal in the suburbs, I know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's a lot of pressure.
Sorry to hear that. And I think it makes sense that you would seek out, to fit in with other people and use pot that way. Group have any feedback for Maren? Anyone can relate?
Yeah, well, I can kind of relate because I came from like the same family background.
Yeah.
My drug of choice is heroin. I got into a car accident and I was prescribed oxy and couldn't afford it anymore, and I just went right back to heroin because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really common problem nowadays, and with the pharmaceutical industry like preying on middle America, it's a real epidemic,
Yeah.
especially in the white community.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they try to pretend like they're trying to help you, but they're just trying to get you to be like a slave to the pharmaceutical system,
Right. Yeah, I think slave is an accurate term. That's really tough. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Anyone kind of relate to Elliot's story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I relate to Elliot's story.
Oh, yeah?
And Maren's.
That's surprising.
Where are you from?
I bet you it's Colonel's.
I'm from Holiday.
Oh, interesting.
My drug of choice.
Wait, it's probably crack, right?
Actually, it's drinking, alcohol.
Oh, so like malt liquor, Mickey's, Ali,
Vodka.
vodka? Okay, it's surprising as well. So tell me a little bit more.
It's kind of the same story. I had like family expectations and they were really stressful, so I just started drinking.
So they like, expect you to be like good at sports, maybe like making the WNBA or like as a rapper or singer, stuff like that?
No, just to go to college and
Oh.
make something of myself, pretty much.
Well, I mean, you must have been able to cope pretty well as like a strong person of color.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone relate to her?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I mean, how's your family, like your kids specifically? How are they dealing with it? I mean, you probably like a lot of kids.
I don't have any kids.
Yeah, how are you able to pay for this? I know this group isn't covered by Medicaid.
So I'm private paying.
Oh, okay. Okay, what was that? That was this, and this is not good social work practice. How then can we assure that nothing even remotely close to this happens in our practice? According to Martinez, 2014, we can strengthen our practice by allowing space for counter stories, or as we call it here, counter narratives. Counter narratives serve as a kind of counter reality created and experienced by marginalized populations, which as a methodology serve to expose, analyze, and challenge master narratives and promote progressive development. So don't be this guy. This guy's an asshole. Be kind, be warm, be gentle, and above all, be willing to hear the stories from those who have lived a different reality. And thank you for watching our presentation.